just can't control what the government does. But I have been excited. I asked at least 2 contractors for an estimate, and it's considerably cheaper than I had anticipated. And the high number was like $400,000, and I really thought it would be at least 6. I don't know if it's because fuel's gone down or there's more competition or whatever, but we probably will not be able to get that done this fall, but we certainly ought to be ready to go first of the year. Fire station proffers, as you know, we did sell the lot to Stafford County. We received a check for $195,000. Part of that deal, there was a proviso that we must extend the right lane where it merges down just past the entrance to the town center to the visitor side of the gate. I have met an engineer, and we went out there and taken a look at it, and we're thinking it's going to probably run about $18,000 in engineering fees and survey fees to be able to prepare what's called an infrastructure plan that has to be submitted to the county, and there's a $5,000 fee for that plan that the county charges. I did have a meeting scheduled today. A big thing is when you disturb more than 2,500 square feet of property, you have to do stormwater management and erosion control. The guy had an emergency, so we did not have that meeting, but I did take him a bunch of pictures and made a few drawings, and he did talk to me, and I do not think it's going to be an overly difficult task for us to get that done. Second entrance on Washington Drive, I have exchanged a couple emails with the developer of the town center. They informed me that they have now officially purchased that property and it belongs to them. And they're continuing to deal with the grocery chain, and I tried to twist his arm, but he still won't tell me who that is. Said it'll probably be 60 more days before they actually consummate the deal on the restaurant. I mean, on the grocery store. But they definitely are still interested, and as I've told you before, they want a second entrance that comes in about where the movie theater sits now, because that's where the grocery store is going to be, and they're going to pay to put that entrance in, and they will also agree to do anything to Washington Drive that's needed to alleviate the traffic. I'm sure there's going to have to be a turn lane. They'll probably have to widen the road to the right, but I think I'm feeling better. If you notice, they're building the apartments there, and it looks like that place is finally going to get developed after all these years.
Ken, real quick, will they kick in, or can we talk to them about kicking in some on the engineering fees, the $18,000? So that's being done.
They'll pay all of the engineering fees because they've contacted me to use the same engineer we do, but they will pay for all of that.
All right,
But
good.
the 18,000 he's talking about is for the extension of the visitors lane. It's got nothing to do with it.
Right.
That would alleviate traffic coming in. I mean, Mike keyed on that early on, that whole thing is an entire plan to look at that whole traffic flow there. And I think that we can make an argument that could be included in there to try to save us 18K.
We can do that once we get to the table. The other thing the board has asked me to do is the Roads and Grounds supervisor has gone out and evaluated all the roads, and we've come up with a paving plan. And some of the bigger streets, we're going to redo John Paul Jones this year. We're going to redo Richmond Drive, and we're going to do a segment of Aquia Drive. There's several cul-de-sacs included in our plan, and unfortunately some of those things are 35 years old. We've never done anything to them. And Wes came in today, and unfortunately, they were out getting some of the streets ready in Pilgrim Cove. Said actually when they drive across it, they can see the ground moving. And when the ground moves and you put asphalt on it, it's just not going to last. So we're probably going to have to do a bigger job in getting ready for that, and it will require, more asphalt. So that's going to make it a little more expensive.
Mr. Blainer, have you gotten any cost estimates from Wes or anyone about these?
We've got 6 contractors located, and they're going to start coming in next Monday. We have to mark the roads, you know, so they can come out and know exactly where they're gonna start, where they're gonna stop. We need those areas where we want them to kneel, and they know the areas where they gotta put in base coat. So we're getting ready for them, and we're gonna start that process next week. Also, when we did get audited last year, we're not doing a great job on inventory control of our equipment, and I have now issued to all of the departments, and the first group that completed it was roads and grounds, but we have identified all the equipment. We have a label on it. We know where it was, where it is. We know how much we paid for it, and an estimate of what it would cost to replace it. The emergency gate, I know everybody's talked about that quite a bit, and I do want to tell you that I personally contacted BDOT. They told me we could not use that, but other than a real emergency, and basically an emergency is someone cannot get to their home, you know, either going through the front gate, can't get across the creek or something like that. That's an emergency. Heavy traffic is not considered an emergency, so they told us we could not open that gate other than an emergency. So I did set up a meeting with BDOT. They came out and brought 2 officials from Stafford County because they're involved in it as well. But I do want to tell you tonight that I think it's doable. We learned a couple things that's going to make it a little more difficult. If you put a swing arm there, you have to put that 150 feet from the road. That will actually bring it down between those fences of those people's house. Then you have to have a turnaround in case you get to the gate and stick your card in, won't open, you got to get out. We do have our bridle path there that we can put a turnaround. So we didn't find anything that said we couldn't do it. Certainly there's some money involved. Again, and just tell you how communications is difficult. First time I went to the county, they said you got to have an infrastructure plan, again, which is $5,000. But if you recall at that meeting, the more we talked and the more we looked at it, we may not have to pay that. It would be just a minor site plan. So it is difficult sometimes to communicate to you, and then the next week I say something totally opposite. So certainly, if you have a question, always feel free to ask me about it. July 4th, certainly that's on top of us, and I really had a big scare this year. I finally called the company that's been providing us with the barge. The guy said, I don't think I'm going to be able to give you the barge. Man, I knew I was going to be killed by that committee that's doing all this work. But anyway, thanks to Glenn Serbaugh, he did find another company, and he actually got it $500 cheaper than we thought we would get it. And I also want to give Glenn a little recognition. He came up with the idea, if we're going to continue to do this, we ought to make our own barge. We first thought out that we could do it for $5,000, but now we've learned that it may cost as high as $15,000 to make our own barge. But the real advantage of that, in 3 or 4 years, 3 years, you would actually have it paid off. But you don't have any assurance that you're going to get one of those barges. So if they're busy and working or they're broke down, so we're going to look into that, and if it does seem feasible, we're going to make a recommendation to the board that we make our own barge. I do want the board's permission. A company did call me. It's the Center for Vein Restoration. They will come to acquire any of our facilities, and they will do a ultrasound of the legs, I guess from the knees to the ankles, and they will give you a copy of that report. If you have a problem, then you go to a regular doctor, but from what I've read and heard, you know, that's a significant problem with people and comes up quite often. So the board will let me do that. I'm going to have that lady come out and offer that to our residents. We did do a road pipe inventory, and I didn't bring it with me, but we have some 209 pipes that go under the streets in Aquia Harbor. Many of those are 35 years old, and you can bet the bottom of them are rusted out. So we are developing a plan, and we're trying to determine which ones need to be replaced first. And we do have some of them that is too deep. I think we've identified at least 2 that we would have to have an outside contractor come in and do. Also, if you hadn't been to Government Island lately, the county has installed, I think it's 4 new signs on the bridge discouraging people from trespassing into Aquia Harbor. We are going to put a swing gate there that will, once you go through it, it will go back to where it looks like it's shut. And again, I think that will be a discouragement for people. Look down there, they see the gate, hopefully they won't be coming in unless they belong here. The final thing I want to say is we've talked a lot about communications, and again, I encourage you to call me, email me. Now, with all of the controversy that's been going on, I've talked to a lot of people, and I've answered a lot of emails, but I don't think anybody left those conversations hating me or not believing me, and so I do encourage you, I mean, and I want to apologize too. And, a lot of people, I say, I'll call you back and let you know for sure what they said, and I just get so wrapped around the axle sometimes that I don't get back. But if I don't get back to you, call me again. That's my report.
You done, Ken?
I'm done.
Okay, I have a question for you. In the minutes of the last meeting, you said 3 quotes have been received for cameras at the pool and the front gate. What's the status of that?
I do have those quotes, and but I did not bring them tonight because it wasn't on the agenda.
Okay.
But I do have quotes, and the thinking there is we would like to put one at the Harbor Inn that would cover the swimming pool and the area. We could set up cameras wherever we want them. We'd also like to do one here at the country club where we can monitor the swimming pool, the golf carts, and those types of things. And it would be identically the same system that we have in the business office.
Okay. I guess the reason I'm asking is that we're almost a month into the pool season. We don't know for a couple of months. When are we going to make that?
Well, it wasn't budgeted for beginners, and you know, and I really got those bids quite late. And in all honesty, I think that's something we should consider for next year's budget.
Don, you have something you want to?
I just wanted to follow on to what Mr. Langer said about that emergency gate or back gate. I've accompanied Mr. Langer on all the meetings we've had with the county and with BOD on both the Washington Drive changes that we're going to make and also that emergency gate. And I don't want you to walk away from here thinking that this is going to be an easy fix or an easy deal to get done with this emergency gate if we can convert it to a second gate or another access gate. Until we get that engineering study done out there, we don't know what we have. And they're talking about we probably are going to need a right turn lane put in out there, and whether or not we've got enough room to do that, they were unsure when they came out and walked it off. They indicated we may have to try to buy a little bit of property from the gentleman whose house is at the end there. So not only, if you're familiar with that thing out there on Decatur Road where you turn in, they're talking about we're going to have to widen that, put a right turn lane in there. Plus, we're going to have to move, as Mr. Langer said, the gate arm is going to have to go back 100 feet down that road. We're going to have a way for a vehicle, if they got up to the gate and couldn't get in, that they can turn around. And we're also going to have to provide some type of access for emergency vehicles, if a fire truck needs to come in there. It's not something that's just as simple as, oh, we can just put a gate guard out there. Mr. Langer sent us the stuff on what the county is going to require. Not only are we going to have a gatehouse or sentry box manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The chief will know what that's going to entail. That's probably going to be the addition of another 6 or 7 officers to provide a guard out there. Even though we have that swing on, there still has to be somebody out there in case that thing gets stuck. Yeah, and it also says automated provisions are going to have to be made to permit emergency response vehicles to enter through the restricted access entrance. So not only are we going to have two-way traffic there, this is not just going to be a one-way thing, we also have to have room enough to get that fire truck through that gate. And as you all know, that is not a very wide piece of road sitting there. And then they're gonna have to do a study as to see how much increase in traffic is gonna happen on Decatur Road. And if it's over X amount of vehicles, I think the figure was 200, that really compounds the thing. And they'll have to go to what do they call that, where they have all the communities come in, and if somebody stands up and says, I'm opposed to it, you got a problem. A public hearing. So it's not just, I don't want you to walk away from here thinking, oh, this is gonna be easy. We're working on it, we're trying to get it done, we've already had the meetings with the county, and we've had the meetings with VDOT, we know what we gotta do. We just, the next step is the $5 grand to get this engineering thing started, and we'll take it from there, but we'll keep you informed.
All right, resolution of action items, that's the page right behind the agenda. Connie, you want to add something?
I'd added the playground equipment. I think I pretty much covered that when I said I'm going to do a comprehensive, amongst the other things involved with the roads and the emergency gate. I'm also working on the, as you know, the playgrounds, and I'm going to do a comprehensive study to see what we need in the way of playground equipment, what changes can be made, and also trying to figure out how we can build a shelter up there at Aquia Park, which currently does not have a shelter. One of the ladies indicated that she would like to see a track around Aquia Park where they can walk with their strollers or ride a bicycle while their kids are playing on the playground equipment. So that's something else that we're going to look at. And if there's anybody out here in the audience that would like to get involved in determining what we're going to do with these playgrounds, please see me after this session and give me your name and phone number, and be glad to work with you.
Okay, so do you want to add that to the action item?
We'll add it to the action item. I'll discuss it next work session. I'll make the motion, we add it to our action tracker list.
Look, I'm gonna make a post right now, say it's me.
Get a second on that? All in favor?
God, really?
I'm sorry, who says
Chris?
All right, committee action tracker, there's a whole bunch of additions for the beautification committee, so I suggest we table that to the work session.
Okay.
Please read it so you're prepared to go through them and say yes, no, maybe. So we get it done. Okay, new business, tabs in the back, we have to affirm the telephonic vote for the beautification committee requests. Should I get a
Thank you.
motion to affirm that telephonic vote?
We affirm the telephonic vote completed on June 9th, 2015. The board unanimously agreed to authorize the president,
Wrong one.
the date was June 8th. The board unanimously agreed to approve the beautification committee's request for not more than $4,500 out of recycling funds to build a stone wall at the entrance to the harbor.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, telephonic vote on the deed of easement.
I move that we affirm that the telephonic vote completed on June 9th, 2015, that the board unanimously agreed to authorize the president or general manager to sign a deed of easement with Stafford County.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, C, combined board meetings. Generally, we combine the July and August board meetings. The dates I was thinking is either the 22nd and 29th of July, 12th and 19th of August, or the 19th and the 26th of August. Can you guys look at your calendars this evening and let's pick one of those three?
Two of those dates again.
July 22nd, 29, August 12 and 19, August 19 and 26. Anybody have any conflicts that they know of right now? Take that as a no. Okay. I'm gonna move that we combine the meetings and have them on August 12th and August 19th. They are for like a month and a half between each other.
We'll second it.
Any discussion on that? That okay with you, Deb?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Paving, I think we've already talked about that, the general manager has,
I've got a quick thing on that. You know, we talked about the rejuvenation and all that. I know that's the big thing Barb has going, and I do as well. I think Jim was working on it, Hodges was working on it. So, you know, it's not an all or nothing with the rejuvenation piece. We can do a hybrid approach to it where the main highways that we can't shut down for 24 hours and all that, we can grind them and pave them, and then they're ready to go within hours. I mean, as soon as the pavement's down, you can start driving on it. And then the side streets that we can extend, I mean, if we look at possibly rejuvenating those, they could last 10 years, 15 years, longer than the projections, just due to the low traffic volume. That's something we definitely need to consider.
okay, well, there was a call for members for a rejuvenation committee and nobody responded. Is anybody working on that? Are you working on that? I'm not.
I thought Mr. Hodges had it. Did you nominate him?
Y'all are in charge. Y'all got to lead.
No, we tried to get volunteers to do it.
Yeah, still on the signboard out front.
Signboard doesn't work.
So you want to take that on the project, you're welcome to do it.
Announce it on the website.
Revised CBO checklist, it's in the back, we all looked at that. Chris, did you see it?
Did the guy like to look
Did
at
you look and see if your changes were done? Would you like to vote on this and get this out of here tonight? The changes are not done?
The two changes that I have is to remove it's not on trailer.
Yeah, the vehicle, boats, trailers, RVs, jet skis, campers not parked in the driveway or parked in the back. Okay, so, well, that's in front of the yard, the one in the front yard.
Want to remove boats not currently
No, no, no,
registered?
No, boats is, okay, that's added. So boats not currently registered, but it's also and tag. Wasn't it supposed to say and tag?
No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I think the change.
Non-voter, sorry.
You have to change that.
And what was the other one, Deb? So-
No, the other one looks like it was, the boat's not on a trailer was supposed to be removed and I don't see it, so. Those look like it was removed.
Yeah, 'cause I-
All right, I,
Any-
I make a motion we approve.
Any second on that?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
Phyllis Peloso did send me something today, and I tried to get it to Catherine, and I don't believe it's in here. It was mailboxes, and was it mailboxes, what you had in there, Phyllis?
Three of them.
That's not mine.
Nobody wants to take the one.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, kids, you got your phone over there.
Let him get the ball.
My girlfriend called.
Yeah, we can't hear you. I can hear you, but they can't.
Yeah, go on, speak.
got one of those?
Can you hear? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Second of all, I voted aye on everything so far.
We haven't voted on anything yet. Okay, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's communication.
I had to write this comments, I guess, I wasn't coming through speakerphone.
Okay. All right, so you can hear us now, right?
Yes,
Okay.
you hear me, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, you were saying that somebody wanted to add something?
Yeah. Phyllis, what was you sent me today that you wanted on the checklist?
It was under the maintenance of structures, about 5 or 6 items down, to include mailboxes and newspaper boxes in there, that they have to be painted and cleaned.
Are you serious?
Slash damage.
Yeah, there's a list of like fences and sheds and all
Yep.
kind of stuff.
Fences, head walls, windows, retaining walls, sheds, etc.
Want to add mailbox Mailboxes, what was the other thing?
Mailboxes and newspaper boxes.
Oh,
Are you guys okay with that addition?
No.
No.
Fortunately,
It's not on the agenda, you shouldn't be voting.
Right.
it is on.
It's on the agenda.
Well, it's a new item.
Not if it's in the email.
The checklist is on the agenda. If the board doesn't want to add the change, the board's not adding the change. I am not in favor of adding the change.
I've seen some pretty nice mailboxes.
You can't do anything to the paper boxes anyhow, that belongs to.
I say we just vote on it. If we want it, you can add something or delete something.
I say we vote on it as is. You feel comfortable with that? Okay. Get a motion to approve the checklist as is.
Second.
You
Need
just
a motion
motion.
first.
I move we approve the checklist as is.
Okay, you second it.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Bob.
We're counting on you.
All opposed.
Okay, the committee changes, if you guys have any issues with taking that to executive session, because there's a bunch of homeowners there, we have to make a decision on that. You mind, you ready to cover that?
Any changes, we do that, we've always done it.
The emergency gate use, we already talked about. Playgrounds, we've talked about that. Okay, Chris, animals and AHPO buildings.
All right, so we made a decision last month at the BOD session on some incomplete information that prohibited, the outcome is prohibited that the police department would go around, could no longer go around and pick up stray or endangered animals or any animals, basically, whether in traffic or not, that anyone that saw an animal needed to call animal control, the sheriff's department to come out and take care of the problem. We voted on that, it passed. However, I think it was the next day, a lady picked up a stray, kept it at her house, called the sheriff's department and animal control. They couldn't come out. They were told to release the animal. The animal was released, went 2 doors down and attacked another dog, and I don't think it killed it, I think it injured it, severe injuries to that other animal. Had an officer been allowed, had we not had that vote, the program was still in effect, that would have not have happened. So this,
So what's your motion? What's your motion?
I move that the previous board action regarding the Harbor Paul program be rescinded, that the chief be allowed to continue the Quiet Harbors program as agreed upon, decided upon between the chief of police and the GM. Additionally, all other Quiet Harbor buildings will remain off limits to pets except for service animals, actual or in training, and the Marina Ship Store, which has historically admitted dog in the company of their owners. So that means that the ship store would allow, or that dog animals will be allowed in the ship store again.
Is there a second on that?
There's no second, the motion just fails.
Yes. You second that? You second that? Yeah, sure can, go ahead.
Okay, can you repeat what I'm saying?
Yes.
They can hear you.
I second that based on the conditions the chief set out to, put pads in the cars and to keep the animals in a cage outside the police department.
And that's where Bob, that's where the discussion and the agreement between the GM and the chief, and I think the chief had already had a write-up basically on the mitigation measures that included, and we can add that to the motion, we can include mitigation measures for both the police department and the squad cars, to include pads for the squad cars and a kennel, not to exceed $500.
I support that.
Okay. Any discussion on that?
I would like to say that at the legal seminar that 5 of the board members attended, although all were invited, and somebody, sometimes has work complications. But we were advised by the attorneys there that we should not take on any responsibilities that Stafford County would provide provide for us when there is additional.
No.
You're out of order.
Please, folks, let us
That would not, in fact, that because Stafford County law enforcement does not pick up dogs, they are told that they are not to pick up dogs, they don't put them in their police cars. If a dog is in the street and is a danger, they are to close the street, block it off.
Please, folks.
And if the dog is a danger, they are to put the dog down. Well, that is the reality of what the sheriff's.
This is why our
Motion's been made, take a vote.
Right now, okay, I told you, I'm gonna give everybody a chance to speak. Do you have anything you want to say, Mr. Shep? Ms. Coleman? Mr. Wyman?
I just don't think it's the job of the police department.
Already said.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All, are you in favor? You're in favor? Okay, all opposed?
Opposed.
Motion fails. All right, communication. Debbie, you want to?
Oh, just, I was gonna try and get something together for this meeting, but, it really should be something for the work session.
Okay.
And so, by the next work session, I will have, a policy written up for communications, and, that way we can toss it around and figure it out. But right now, we did post on Facebook and, our Facebook page and our website, for communication committee.
Okay.
Are you intending that that would include the idea of an enhanced website?
Yes.
So that would all be under that piece? Do you have a timeline for when we can get something done? Because I think the community is anxious.
I won't know that until the committee itself is constructed. I can try and get with the people that are currently listed on the committee and try and get them together for a meeting and see what we can do.
Because I was really hoping we could get something resolved on this quickly. You know,
Well, the
we
thing
do
is-
tend to drag things out for months or years.
Right, and I completely agree with that. But at the same time, in the meantime, I know again that people don't like this website, but it's there right now. Yes, sometimes it takes a little bit to digging around to find where it is that you want, or whatnot, but, I believe Catherine has the ability to change like the banners, right? So there's a banner that goes across the top that can say, you know, please look at such and such, on the website. Refer to this on the website. So, we can at least start to do that kind of stuff.
Okay, Ken, now you have like an interim plan for like, you're gonna do something after board meetings to get,
What I had suggested that we do, that we try to do a brief summary of motions that were voted on, and anything that we thought, was worthwhile, we'll try to put that out the following day after a board meeting, put it on the website.
okay. Okay, that sounds good. How do you guys wanna handle this? Like, we just had it happen again. We had a post to the website on, was it Friday, Catherine? And 5 directors, you wrote a response, 5 directors weighed in, 3 said one thing, 2 said another, and they eventually had to make a decision themselves and go on, so.
Well, that's gonna be hopefully addressing that policy.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but
Yeah.
what are we gonna do between now and then? Are we gonna handle it the same way we did, Catherine? We'll put it out to us.
Yeah.
Everybody will have 1 day to chime in, and then if they don't get adequate response, we'll allow them to post whatever they
Yes,
think is appropriate.
yes.
Okay.
They being Catherine.
Maybe Ken was involved. I think
Yeah,
Ken
but
actually
Ken
read
and
it.
Catherine. Yeah.
Perhaps it felt right.
So how much time are you gonna give to respond?
1 day. So Catherine will get something on the website. She gets it out to us right away with a draft response. You have 1 day to respond to her draft. And after that, she runs with it. And at least that way an answer will get out. Okay?
Is there any way we can get this new part-time administrative person to
Well, it
assist
depends
in
if you
that
vote on,
class?
if you vote on this very next item. We can get that done.
I'm in favor of helping out the harbor and Catherine. in that.
Okay, Deb, you got anything else on that?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. All right, so as we discussed at the work session, it's been recommended by the general manager that we get a part-time administrative person, one to help Ray with the ordering and everything that's now involved at the stable, since we no longer have a manager there, and two, to help the office get caught up with the backlog of work that they have. So, based on our conversations, I move that the board establish a part-time administrative position in the business office until March 31st, 2016, at which time, that's the end of the budget year, at which time the need will be reevaluated. Second that. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you, Bob. GM visitors log. Chris?
All right, so at the work session, Mr. Winter, Director Winter brought up the fact that, you can see when you see, you would be understanding when you saw a bunch of directors' cars at the business office or other places, and, rumors start flying, and to help stop these rumors, basically, I work for the government, and almost every meeting I go to, or every room I go into, I have to sign a visitor's log that takes account for who's in there, who's not in there. It's also a great thing for emergencies and coop operations when, if something happens in that building, we know who's in there. Also, at several different times over the past, the GM has come to Chip and I, saying, hey, I'm getting inundated, director's always in here, I can't get anything